Let's talk about this thing, Christmas, the drain of Christmas. I suppose from my perspective and point of view, Christmas has lost a lot of its feeling over the years. Now, I'm not massively religious, and I know that, I was brought up with the story of Christ and everything else. But for me, Christmas was always about spending time with the family. It was about like the sort of time of year where it just like everything just stopped and everybody came together. Nice memories of family and togetherness and closeness. It wasn't so much about how much money you spent and the gifts that you get and this kind of thing. Over the last few years, I'm talking probably 20, 30 plus years, Christmas has lost that feeling. As the world has kind of carried on its movement and its, I say transition, but the rotations of the world carry on going, it feels that material objects are becoming the focal point of Christmas. And this is a massive weight, a massive burden for a lot of people. As we're going forwards, there's a lot of people who just don't have spare cash anymore. Like everybody's really struggling to pay their bills and just literally live a normal basic life. And I don't know so much about the rest of the Western world, but in the UK especially, we start to see Christmas adverts sort of appearing sooner and sooner into the year. And in all fairness, I was thinking about it a lot this year more than anything. And it's almost like the burden that then adds onto everybody. You're already struggling with all your bills and everything else. And then you start to get Christmas rammed down your throat. And because of, I just feel there's like a disconnect in people this day and age. Everybody wants the most important thing. Christmas is all about the expense of the object or the present that you get. No one cares about people anymore. It just adds to this burden of, people struggling, and now they've got to somehow find spare money to buy an elaborate gift, else otherwise it's like a show that they don't care or love people because they obviously didn't find the money to give anybody. And I just think it's a bit broke. It's the only way that I can describe it. I mean, even for me, right, I have an older brother, and I have been brought up, shall we say, that there is almost a necessity to give a gift. And I don't like that because it puts a lot of pressure on you, because I don't want to give somebody a gift that they're not going to use. I don't want to give somebody a gift that's like a waste of money, I guess. I want to give somebody a gift that they're going to use or that can enhance their life or makes them feel good. Last year was a great example. I literally made my mum like wooden bookends, if you like, and I lasered my mum's parents on them, so like my grandparents. I gave her that, and it was very, very sentimental, and it means so much. So it's giving somebody that kind of feeling. But as I was saying, I've got an older brother, and you go to him, it's like, what would you like for Christmas? And the response I got was like, oh, well, I've got a list. And I'm not going to lie, right? I sit here heading towards 40, and like I say, my brother's older. And you start to question yourself, like, why do people over a certain age have a list still for Christmas? It takes away that whole family and, togetherness, and it just reiterates that it's just about, I want this, I want this, I want this. And you kind of get that vibe, as you just put yourself out in the world with, especially like right now, everybody's rushing around Christmas shopping, trying to get the last little bits. And everybody's like, oh, I've got to get this for my daughter, or I've got to get this for whoever. There's a huge emphasis on, I've got to get this. I don't know. I find it very weird. I find the weather for me personally also plays its part. I mean, literally look outside today. It could be any month from sort of October to March. It could be any day in that month. And as dumb as it is, because we don't get the winters that we used to get, it feels like it takes an element away from Christmas. Like when I was a kid and we were lucky enough, we used to get snow, and it'd almost bring, I say the world, it was like my world, if you like, to a halt. Like snow it just stops everything. Nothing particularly used to run when there was loads of snow around. And it just kind of brought the world back and slowed it down a bit. And it made us kind of realize and appreciate the things that we did have, like the family and the people around us and the support and, like togetherness that we just don't see in the world much anymore. So it's multiple layered, I think, is the thing that I'm getting at. But I think the main thing that I've noticed is how much there's a monetary focus on Christmas now versus, what it used to be like. And in a time when people just simply don't have spare money, there is a ridiculous pressure. A ridiculous pressure is applied on people that it's like, hey, you're going to be struggling for money at this time of year anyway, but now you also have to. And it is really forced that you have to buy expensive presents for people because it's the only way that you can show people how much value that they bring to your life. It's messed up. It really is messed up. And I was just kind of sitting there and, thinking about stuff. And it's no wonder that a lot of people go for a hard time this year. That I imagine specifically like suicide rates and stuff probably increase around this time of year because it's financial, especially for men. There's a financial burden that comes in because it's like we're supposed to be the providers, right? And if you're struggling to provide the other months of the year, Christmas comes around and it's like, hey, you've now got to find that extra cash to, support a Christmas. It's wild. And obviously I can't speak upon what it's like for women. I mean, I'm not one, but I imagine the way that the world is now, it's going to be a similar feeling, isn't it? Because there's a lot more stresses put on everybody, every individual. Nobody escapes them unless you're doing ridiculously well. But I just find it really interesting. The irony on the other side of that coin is it's also a focus where you are like looking to be around family and friends and stuff. And the pressure that then puts on you if you're alone, if you're somebody who has lost friends, family, whatever, or just somebody who through life just feels that they're on their own. Christmas can be a really heavy time because it is one of those times of years where the supposed focus is on togetherness. It is on, just being together, and it's really overwhelming, shall we say, if you don't have that network there. It can be tough. It emphasizes that feeling of loneliness. It's messed up. It's messed up in every direction. Like I say, for me, Christmas used to be about that togetherness of family and friends, but the irony is I also know that the pressures that on itself can put onto people. I suppose days gone by, it was almost, olden times, it was a case of nobody was alone for Christmas. Everybody knew everybody, and you invite people round if you know that they're going to be on their own. So you include them so that they're not going to be on their own. But we don't live in a world like that anymore. We live in a world that is all about finances and materialistic objects and monetary values being the most important thing. They push hard for having all the money to have the most expensive gifts to, I don't know, like one up each other of, oh, this person bought me this, but this person bought me this. It's amazing. It's just, I don't know, it's one-upmanship almost, where it's like bragging rights of who got the best gift or who got the most expensive gift. And the irony is most things are just going to be, I don't know, used for a couple of months and then cast aside and sat on a shelf. It's really odd. It is really odd. I suppose it's why I struggle with Christmas. I don't like to give gifts that are meaningless and aren't going to be useful. At the same time, I hate to receive gifts. I'm really bad at receiving gifts because there's a pressure on, somebody's tried to go out and think about something to give you that's going to, hopefully, it's going to be something that you would like. it's going to, you know, potentially enhance something in some way. And as opposed to me, I've been brought up to not want for anything. It becomes very awkward. It becomes very, very awkward. Because there's this weird, I don't know, now you've got something you feel you have to use. And I don't know. Christmas it's a tough time whichever way you look at it. It really is. And I don't know how as a what, like a species, as humanity, I don't know how we can get that feeling of Christmas back. Unfortunately, it feels that something has to happen to make people realize that having the latest iPhone isn't the best thing that you can get for Christmas. You know, it's almost like realizing that Christmas is, for me, the time that emphasizes that every day is a blessing, kind of thing, you know, and the people that you're with, they're not going to be around forever. And it's trying to like make the moment memorable and just be in that little world of togetherness. That for me is the most important thing about Christmas. It's the only time as a family that we sit down nowadays together and eat together. It's the only time when we don't particularly take ourselves away to do our own individual things. It's the only time that we sit around as a family, and that in itself brings its own pros and cons. You start to learn a lot about your family and, you know, maybe why you don't spend much time around them, bless them. But at the same time, I'm lucky enough to have a family that, yeah, there's little problems that have gone on there that have caused a lot of issues to my own mind and stuff, but you know, they're not a bad bunch, and I will miss them if they're not there, when they're not there, you know. And it's Christmas is about, like I say, for me, Christmas is about trying to make the most of those times. I guess that was really emphasized when we lost my nan a couple of years ago. Like, I have a big extended family, but the extended family that I see we don't really see each other a lot. So it was just the sort of four of us and my nan. That was kind of Christmas for us. And she used to love to do the cooking. It was her job. She would always do the cooking. And then when you take that away, it becomes a very big hole to fill. So you kind of realize the importance of spending time with your elders, you know, spending time with the people who might not be around so much. But yeah, man, Christmas, it's stressed since Halloween. As soon as Halloween's doing, everything is focus on Christmas, focus on Christmas, focus on Christmas. You get rammed down your throat so much. It puts all that pressure on your finances, puts all that pressure and emphasis on, hey, you're alone, look at you, haha. I don't know, it's just not what it used to be. And I think it reflects the changes in the world. And for me, I don't like them. Can't do anything about it. You just got to roll with it. I suppose the only thing that you can do about it is not allow it to, you know, get inside your own values, I guess. But yeah, I hope you're doing decent anyway. And I hope, however Christmas looks to you, I imagine, you know, people probably working, which is something that never used to happen. You know, very few people used to work on Christmas. And now it's like just another day for a lot of employed places. But I hope you find some time to just sit with the right people and sort of like take a mental photograph and enjoy the memory. It's not all about big presents. It's not all about expense. And it's not all about, you know, the pressure of togetherness. Some of the best walks I've had have been on my own around Christmas time because it's nice. Like the world just kind of breathes a little bit. I don't know. I'm just waffling now. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's been a good year. Hope you guys take it easy, and I'll see you again in a bit.